The Live Financially Savvy podcast was created by Atia, the savvy accountant. She is a CPA, CA, and certified financial educator instructor. She has a passion for building generational wealth and wants to help you and others to do the same. She's created the podcast to help others live financially savvy. Lower your debt and build your net worth using techniques you learned here from others doing amazing things to live financially savvy. Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Live Financially Savvy podcast. I'm your host, Tia, aka the Savvy Accountant, and today I'm excited to continue on my April series on talking about men in finance and men just doing great things for the community. And so today I'm going to be talking to Nehemiah Davis, and he's actually someone that I met in Philly. He's an entrepreneur, he's a philanthropist, and I basically just thought his whole business was pretty dope and I wanted to feature him. He does so much for the community and I just wanted to highlight him. And so I thought he would be a good fit. So a little bit of background about Nehemiah. He's an award-winning author, an entrepreneur, and a philanthropist born in Philly. He's 30 years old and he has basically had the odds stacked against him from birth. His father is in prison currently for a murder. And so he was raised by his mother and his grandmother. And so he's had to endure a lot of trials and tribulations growing up. And he fought through it. He was able to go to a really great school because his mother had this vision of showing him what she wanted him to see and what she wanted him to be. And he gets into that in the podcast. So I'll let him tell you guys about that. But I basically just wanted to highlight him. He has an organization that basically helps entrepreneurs get to the next level. It's like a membership group. It's called the Circle of Greatness and Circle of Greatness Academy. And he basically just provides resources and stuff for other entrepreneurs. And so he talks about that, and that'll be in the show notes for you guys to figure out how you can join. He also has the Nehemiah Davis Foundation, which is a foundation that helps the homeless citizens in Philadelphia. And to date, he's helped about 40,000 people. He's traveled to 44 countries. So naturally, you can see why I'm drawn to him. The four is prevalent in his whole story. So without further ado, I'm going to start the interview and I'm going to have you guys hear from Nehemiah. So, hey, Nehemiah, thank you so much for being on. I like to get my guests to introduce themselves to the audience in their own words. So even though I read your bio, if you could just introduce yourself, that would be great.
I'm super grateful to be on your podcast, and I'm just grateful to be here. My name's Nehemiah Davis. I'm a 30-year-old author, entrepreneur, and student. And a lot of people say, why are you a student? Because I'm committing the rest of this year and next year to learning as much as I possibly can, because I understand that learning is going to be the key to getting you to the next level. You probably wonder, like, yo, were you always like this? I wasn't, guys. I grew up in West Philadelphia. I was raised by my mom and grandma because my dad hasn't been in my life since I was 2 years old. Fast forward, my mom's whole objective with my life was to give me the best possible life that I could have. But as a kid, I just wasn't really, interested in hearing that. So I kind of was rebellious growing up. But luckily, she still decided to expose me. One of my favorite quotes is, once your mind is expanded to a new concept or idea, it's hard to go back to its original way of thinking. So my mom's goal was just always to expose me and show me new things, to show me possibilities. So I had the opportunity to go to this cool school called Archbishop Carroll. And at the school, I got the opportunity to see mansions. I got the opportunity to hang out with my friends' millionaire parents. Had the opportunity to just see things that I never thought I would see coming from West Philadelphia, such as spending the night at their homes that had pool houses, horses on the properties, four-wheelers, like you name it. I had the opportunity to see it. So I believe that was my first eye-opening experience to showing me that I can live the life of my dreams. That didn't last too long because I got kicked out of that school. So I ended up going to a different school and I did great that year. And fast forward, I got the opportunity to go to college. So I started out college amazing, right? And then that didn't last too long because I ended up getting kicked out of college. So fast forward, guys, at this point, our impact while making income, they came through this facility. And again, that brings me to my favorite quote. Once your mind is expanded to a new concept or idea, it's hard to go back to its original way of thinking. So at that very moment, I started to dream. I started to believe I could do all these things. And then I got fired. So at that point, I started my first business, which was a fruit truck. Fast forward today, I'm an author of 3 books. I've been to 44 countries all around the world. I run an academy called Circle of Greatness Academy, where we help aspiring and current entrepreneurs get to the next level personally and professionally. And I have one goal and objective. That's to help as many people as possible write their own success story. So that's just a little bit about me in a condensed amount of time.
Wow. So that's pretty amazing story. So I love what you say that once you learn something new, it's hard to get your mind to go back to the old way. And so that's basically my purpose with the podcast. I want to introduce people to concepts and how they can just live their best financial lives. And so I'm hoping once they learn something and they apply it, it's hard to go back to the old life. So they're just going to keep going forward.
Oh, for sure. It's a major key into helping you achieve the dreams you want. Just believe in it and then actually living it out each day.
It is. It's great. And so I definitely want to commend your mom for putting that in you so early. I think that it's definitely the parents' responsibility to expose their children to what they want them to see. And I think that was like a great way for her to do it, to set you up in that school so that you were surrounded by this stuff, so that it wasn't foreign to you. You knew that it was something attainable.
Exactly. That's the problem with most people. They never get exposed.
Exactly.
Generally are youth, so they never believe they can become or have those things. So again, me growing up, I never hung out in mansions or anything. So I didn't know. But eventually I found out.
That's amazing. And so I just wanted to start off with your foundation. I know you created the Nehemiah Davis Foundation with your mom and your grandmother, I believe. And so can you just talk us about how you started the foundation? What was the purpose behind that foundation?
Yeah, so we started literally probably about 9 years ago. And the real purpose, everything I create is almost by mistake or out of a need. And we started the foundation because I had the fruit truck. My mom said, hey, you making money, we need to get back. I'm like, what should we do? So what we decided to do was gave her $50. My mother and my sisters went to go feed the homeless and they came back very quickly. I'm like, what happened? Did you guys not go? They said, no, they took all the sandwiches that quick. I'm like, I don't believe it. So I ended up going with them next week and repeated the same process. And it literally happened that quick. So from that moment, I said, man, we can make a difference in the lives of 50 to 75 people for $50. I'm all in. So we started, continued to do that probably for 6 to 7 consecutive years. And in the process of doing that, we started to do other activities and programs to give back, such as annual Thanksgiving events where we bus in homeless people, provide meals, haircuts, and coats for them. Christmas events where we invite the entire community, give out 50 brand new bikes, hundreds and hundreds of toys while providing a phenomenal experience, such as giving out Santa's there, face painting, moon bounces, food, everything totally free. Fast forward, then we did the ski trip. We're on our 10th annual ski trip, taking kids skiing, exposing them and showing them what's possible. So I say all that to say we started and then we decided to keep it going. We felt it was a need to make a difference.
And I think that is definitely amazing. Like, giving back is a priority in my family. And so I think it's awesome. And the fact that you said you gave the first week and you were like, how come you guys are back so quick? You basically didn't realize that the demand was so high.
Exactly.
And that can be like mind blowing when you actually see how many people do need help that we probably could take for granted.
Facts.
And so you said you started a fruit truck.
Yes, that was my first business. And I started that because I was taking my grandma to go get fruit pretty much every week. And I'm like, man, what business can I start that's easy to get into? And I understood it was that one. So I literally identified what did I need to get started, and I started.
That's amazing. And so did you put that on the side when you started doing other things? Is somebody else in your family?
I ran a fruit truck for years. And then eventually someone reached out to me about cleaning for them. I clean, and I'm like, man, I can do this. And I just started a cleaning business. So literally everything that I have or started came because I either saw someone else doing it and said I could do it, or someone called me with an opportunity that I said yes to.
That is amazing. And
Most
so,
people never say yes to their dreams or their calling, so they missed it. So I've
exactly.
been saying yes forever.
That's amazing. And the fact that you learned that so quickly and on your own. So obviously my passion is teaching personal finance and how people can live their best financial lives. And so obviously starting your own business is a great way to do that. And so you started these. Did you have any mentors? I mean, besides your mom and your grandmother who did an amazing job because they instilled in you from the beginning, did you have any mentors that you were kind of looking up to at the time that you wanted to emulate?
Not at the very beginning because I didn't understand the power of a mentor. I don't think I got my first mentor until I was like 21, 22. And I realized, man, having a mentor is a key. So, if I could fast forward back now and I would have got a mentor right out of school. I had my mentor. She was the owner of the school. I looked up to her as a mentor, but I didn't have like a mentor like I have now.
Okay. And 21 is still very young to start to realize that you need a mentor.
Right. Exactly. But no, having a mentor is just key. That's like a super key.
And so you do so much for the community, and that's why I wanted to feature you. So I'm featuring Black men that I feel are doing great things for the community and in the financial world. And because the sphere that I'm in, I kind of only see women, which is not a bad thing. They're educating the millennials that in my community, but I just wanted to focus on men doing stuff. And I think you're doing great things for the community and the foundation. Yeah, no, you're doing great. And so the foundation is a perfect example of that. You have like many programs for the youth. I see that you teach them photography classes. You're just basically setting them up to start their own businesses. And I think that's amazing.
Absolutely. That's the major key. They're not told or exposed, so they believe everything. Oh, I got to wait till they always ask you what you want to do when you grow up. What about what you want to do right now?
That is very true.
We wait until we 18, 21 and figure out what we want to do. It's already too late. It's not too late, but there's no point in waiting that long if you can figure it out at 12, 13, 14 and then commit as much time into your passion as you can. It's going to be a guaranteed formula for success if they're willing to work.
That's awesome. I definitely believe that the earlier you start with anything, you form the habits and then you just carry it forward. So the same thing with savings. Start with $10 a week, $10 a month. And then as you get more, you can build more, but you get that habit of doing it and then it sticks with you so you don't stop.
Exactly.
And so you are an author. So I wanted to get into what inspired you to write your first book. So was Step Into Greatness the first one?
Yes, that was my first book. Then the children's book came after that.
Okay. So what inspired you to write the first book?
Well, it inspired me every day. I used to write down, just goals I would like to achieve. I would write the people who I would like to hang with. I would write down the things I wanted to happen in my life before they actually happened. I would write down my affirmations. I would write down some things I was grateful for. And I realized out of writing all of those things and down and saying all those things, I'm like, man, this could be packaged up into a book. Some of my mom said, hey, you should write a book with all of those things you do. I don't remember specifically why I started, but I figured out this could be a great tool for people to utilize to help them achieve their goals and their dreams. So we identified that was what we wanted to do and we did. So, and that's it. I just said, hey, what does it take to write a book? What do I need? I identified what that was and I just got started.
So that's amazing. So you basically recognize the power of manifestation in your words and speaking what you wanted into existence before the book even came to life. And then that brought about the book.
Exactly.
Well, that's pretty amazing. And so I know that I've kind of followed you when I lived in Philly, I followed you. And so that's how I met up with you. And so I know that you've been to 44 countries. I'm curious, well, 4 is my favorite number, so that's why that stuck out to me. But I'm curious on how that got started.
Man, how did going to, I used to write down in my book every day, I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to try. I literally wrote this down every day in my grandma's room before I had a passport, before I had any income, before I had anything. I was writing it down daily. And then somehow I started traveling, some for speaking, some for missionary works, a lot of it for fun. And I just continued to do it. Like, you know, a lot of people have different things, their interests. I don't have no interest in clothes. I don't have no interest in going out. I put all my interests really in traveling. So I utilize those same funds that I will be buying clothes with, going out to the clubs with, going out to eat every week with, to traveling. And I committed that I would like to travel the world and just see, you know, the beauty, because it's so much more than any one city. It's so much more than that. So I wanted to expose myself to more.
And I definitely think that there's so much more than what you know. And that goes back to what your mom's intentions were by exposing you to that great life that was out there. You can only know what you know. So for you to see the rest, you basically have to expose yourself to it. And like you said, there's so many countries that you can see and the beauty that's in all of them. And you wouldn't know it if you didn't go, right?
Yep. And that's 100% certain. You will never know if you don't go. So many people never go. And that's period. That's with anything. With their dreams, they just never pursue them. You would never know if it would have worked out. The biggest regret that most people have, it isn't everything they've done. It was always all the things they didn't do when they get to a certain age. I ask people, hey, man, if you could do it over again, what would you do? I wouldn't be afraid. I would follow my dreams. I would do more of what I love. I would travel. They say all the things that they should have done. So I don't want to be that person.
That is so true. And that is so deep because I feel like everything in life, you either learn from it or you basically did what you wanted to do. And the regret comes from things that you didn't do. I don't think people have regrets about trying something. And even if they fail, it's still something that they tried, they did it. They either failed or they found another way to do it. So basically, I think all the regret comes from not trying something.
And that's 100% right.
And to talk about what you do with the Circle of Greatness Academy. So I know that the majority of things that you do, it's always benefiting other people. So
so I learned early on the real key to success is helping other people succeed. I think Jim Rohn said if you help someone else pay their bills, all your bills will be paid for. You know what I mean? If you help someone else get to where they need, you know, you're going to definitely get to where you need. So what I did was, one day, it's funny how Circle of Greatness started. For years, I've been connecting people with resources, opportunities, and always said, man, it'd be so nice if I could make some money from connecting people with these resources and opportunities. Like, I can just say I'll connect you with this other person. You do their taxes for 20 years and that end up being $20,000, but I didn't get nothing from doing it. And again, I don't mind doing that, but I'm like, what if I could make some money from doing it? Mm-hmm. So one day I had my mentor, he came down to Philadelphia, Kendall Ficklin, and he had an event at our space. Mind you, we gave him the space for free. We was going to charge, but he probably wouldn't have done it there because he was looking to get the space for free. So I was supposed to be out of town that day, but I happened to come watch him do his presentation. And what his presentation entailed was just saying how he can help people grow, help people win, help people get to the next level. And I'm just sitting there looking like, man, that sounds good. It sounds like everything, man, I'm doing. And at the end, he said, okay, now who's ready to join? You can join for free. I'm like, hold on. But, it's a free trial. Join for 30 days for free, then it's $50 a month. Like, man, I could do that. So literally that next week, I called him like, man, I'm interested in doing what you're doing. What do I need to do? He said, you need this, 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 and this. I said, you tell me I don't need no website? Nope. You tell me I don't need this? Nope. You sure? You tell me I don't need this? Nope. You just need a flyer saying what it is in a Facebook group to get started. Oh, I said, say no more. I found out I found out what software we needed. Literally, we started that business for under $200. I don't even know the exact number, but easily under $200. So fast forward, I literally started this business because I watched him do it. And this now we had a circle of greatness. A year later, we was able to generate 6 figures in that first year off of the idea that I wasn't even supposed to stumble on. I wasn't even thinking about this. And I was transitioning out my cleaning business. So it was the perfect time because now I focus more on getting paid with my mind and with my hands.
Yeah.
Like, pay more with my knowledge and with just making connections and just working hard as I was working. So fast forward, our goal with getting as many people as possible is to do the free trial model, get as many people as possible for free, add as much value as we can on the front end where they like, man, I don't want to leave. And that has happened. We've been helping change lives for this last year. One of our members reached her first million in her business.
That's
so
amazing.
We got so many success. I have 100 success stories easily. And I'm just happy that we get the idea to play a part of it, whether that's with the encouragement, whether that's with just my personal contacts and resources, or whether that's just us connecting them with the guests who are on each of our phone calls that bring immense value to them. So it just feels good to know we're playing a small role in helping people pursue their goals and dreams. We're a catalyst to get people started. So it feels good to do that.
I think that's amazing. And I can definitely attest to it because I've met people through your academy when you've had your opening for your space. And I connected with some of them. And actually, Sonia is going to be on the podcast. So I found her through kind of your space.
And that's funny. Sonia is like one of my first, before we had Circle of Greatness, like 2.5 years ago, she sat down in my seat and my boardroom bosses didn't have a business, didn't have an idea for a business. Fast forward later, she's
blowing it up.
30,000 a month. And it's crazy that you can be somewhere one day and life change drastically once you make a decision. So I'm super proud of her and everything that she does.
Yeah, she has an amazing story, and I can't wait for that episode to come out. But so real quick, when you have a space, right? And you hold events there, and so that's where you kind of do a lot of your community work.
Yes.
What made you decide in this age of everything is on social media, everything is kind of virtual? What made you decide that you wanted to have like a brick and mortar? Was it so that you were in the community, like actually in Philly, servicing?
Well, it's funny because I've been having events at other people's spaces for so long. Like I've been like having events but every time you have an event at someone else's space, you got to find the time you can do it. You got to see if it's available. You got to pay for it. So I said, man, what happened if I get my own space, run all my own free programming do everything I want out of our own? So that was the reason we decided to get our own space because we already was paying every month to use someone else's space. In addition to that, I was referring so many people to use other people's spaces and I was getting $0 from those referrals. It was just passing the ball. But I'm happy I gave those referrals and I'm happy I was actually working some of them referrals. I was giving them to my mentor. So I knew now how to run an event. I knew what to do and what not to do based on me helping him. So I just start once again out of necessity. We needed the space. And then who knew that, people will want to get the space every weekend for their events, in addition to everything we do on our own. So it just made perfect sense. So,
and I think that's definitely a great point.
And if you're going to start a brick and mortar, I think it needs to be a need. You can't go online and have an event. You can have virtual, but you can't invite people to do your baby shower online. You can't invite people to do your book signing online. Yep. You can't invite people to do your movie screening online. So some things still needs, some things won't go out of business, God willing, because of the dynamics. Exactly. People need a place to do things, you know what I mean? So, and they're always looking for that. So every time I think of things that has a need that will actually last.
And I think that's a great point. And the fact that you were holding events at other people's spaces, which nothing's wrong with that because you were sewing to their pockets. But the fact that you were like, well, I'm doing this all the time, I probably can use my own. And that's just another way that you're actually building generational wealth for your side, because
exactly,
this space is going to pass down to your children because it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think it's just awesome that you have done so much in such little time. Like you said, you're 30 years old. I think that's young.
And I feel like I haven't done anything. You know, I've been at it for 9, 10 years. I'm like, man, when is that big break going to come? So I'm still at it every day, waiting and working towards it.
Well, that grit is wonderful. And that's going to just keep you being successful in everything that you do. But just let me tell you, you have done a lot, and you definitely are doing a lot for the community in Philly. I definitely enjoyed myself when I went to your events, and I can tell that everybody around you gravitates to you because you just help so many people. And I'm not even sure if you're aware how you help them, but just you speaking, like you're always positive, you're always motivating. And I think that that's great. And so I'm going to tell you that you've done a lot.
Well, I appreciate that.
No problem. So do you have anything going on right now that you want to talk about, that you want people to sign up for? And I'll put it in the show notes, how they can reach out to you. I know the circle.
I mean, always, we're always looking to help more people reach their goals and dreams. So if anyone is interested in growing, anyone interested in getting around a community of people who want to see you become successful, it's hard sometimes trying to be successful on your own. Like a lot of people try to go do it on their own, and it's tough. So I make it a point to be around other people who are doing what I'm doing. I make it a point to be around other people who are inspiring me and encouraging me to live my very best life. So I just challenge more people to get around like-minded people. So if we can be that catalyst, that push for you, circleofgreatnessacademy.com is where you can learn more information and where we can help you win even more.
That's amazing. And so I'm definitely going to post about the Circle of Greatness Academy because I think that's a great place for people to connect. And you're basically helping them push their dreams and giving them the motivation and stuff that they need to get there, along with the tools that they need and resources. And
I appreciate that.
No problem. And so I like to ask my guest what Live Financially Savvy means to them.
Well, for me, I would say one thing I would say, not live financial savvy to me means not living above your means, like knowing what you should be getting and what you shouldn't be doing and sticking with it. So, for example, at this point, I'm not going to buy $1,000 shoes. I'm not buying a $400 belt. I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but I don't see any purpose in it because what's the difference between $1,000 shoes and a pair of $100 shoes? Other than a bottle may be red, but the comfortability is not the same. So I'm just big now on only spending money when you need to on things that are going to help you develop. Another financial savvy also mean to me, how can I make my money work for me? That's being savvy,
Yeah.
People say, one of my favorite quotes that I've heard is treat your money like an employee. It should always be working for you. And again, not always. Again, I don't want to mean it in that realm. But what I'm basically saying, you should be making your money work for you as often as you can. And that's what financial savvy means to me.
I think that's awesome. And I think you touched on some great points about living below your means, because I think so many people, this whole living your best financial life, so many people think that's unattainable because of their current situation, but they don't realize that if they just look at what they're bringing in versus what they're sending out, they can make changes. And I'm sure that they can come up with a savings plan to get themselves out of debt, to start investing, to start thinking about their retirement. And so that living below your means is major. And of course, having your money work for you is a great way to grow it.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for hopping on with me. I really enjoyed our chat, and I just wanted to highlight you because of all the things that you do for the community. And so I think you deserve to be spotlighted. And so thanks for deciding to join.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's phenomenal. I enjoyed my time and my experience here. And I pray that God continues to bless you and everything that you do.
Thank you. I received that. So have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much.
So I want to thank you for listening to the Live Financially Savvy podcast. You can hear the episode at livefinanciallysavvy.com, and you can get all the show notes at livefinanciallysavvy.com. You can follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at Live Financially Savvy. And let us know what you think. Please like, comment, and share, and rate and download wherever you listen to your podcast. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.